Hi Providence Brass students, this is Mrs. McDaniel. Today's video is about warming up. We're going to be going over breathing, buzzing, scales, and lip slurs. So please grab your instrument, make sure you have all your practice materials, and let's get started. The first element to a good quality fundamental brass warm-up is breathing. You might think that you don't need to practice breathing, seeing as that you do it all day, every day. But the amount of air and breathing required to play this kind of instrument is a little bit different than even just talking or even shouting. The way we get our best quality breath is with good posture. Think of a hose with water running through it. What happens when that hose gets bent? The water doesn't run through it anymore, okay? Now think of that hose running from your lungs and out your mouth. If we're sitting with bad posture, a lot of times our heads are down and that hose gets bent, okay? So we want to make sure the hose stays open so that we can get the most air in and out as possible. My first breathing exercise I like to do is a simple in through the nose and out through the mouth. This not only helps open up our lungs and wake us up, but it also helps get us focused for our warm-up. So if you would, please close your eyes, inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Ready, and in, out. In, full breath, out. And just do that a couple times until you feel centered and ready and awake. My next breathing exercise requires a metronome. I like to set my metronome at 80 beats per minute. It's going to be a simple in for 4, hold it for 4, and then out for 4. I've got my metronome ready. Quarter equals 80. We're going to go in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. 1, 2, ready, and. Hold and out. Last time. In, hold and out. Good. So eventually what you're going to want to do is increase the amount of time. You're going to go in for 6, in for 8, in for 10, in for 12, 14, 16, etc. until you feel like you've practiced your breathing sufficiently, you're awake, you're relaxed, you're ready to move on. The next element is buzzing, and this is very unique to brass playing, and it requires your mouthpiece. So, our instrument, as you know, acts as an amplifier, just like a microphone does to a speaking voice. So, the voice doesn't come out of the microphone, the voice comes out of the person. In our case, the noise, the note, whatever it is that we're playing comes from here and not from our instrument. The first step when we buzz is we hold our mouthpiece in our non-dominant hand. For me, I write and throw and do everything else with my right hand, so I will be holding my mouthpiece in my left hand. When I hold my mouthpiece, I use this technique, right? Pointer finger, thumb at the end of the shank. You see that? We're not full hand like this. We aren't, kind of doing this thing. We're doing pointer finger, thumb, pinch at the very end of the shank. And this might feel kind of weird for trombone players. It's a little bit easier for trumpet players considering your mouthpiece is a lot smaller. But yeah, same concept. The reason being is we don't want to have too much pressure on our face when we buzz. Start with a comfortable, easy pitch. Whatever comes to mind, what I want you to do is take a nice deep breath in through your mouth, extending the corner so that you're breathing around the mouthpiece like that. Kind of smile, and then buzz one note. Here we go. And just hold that note for as long as comfortable, okay? Your goal is to maintain a note without any ups and downs, any waverings, just kind of Da. Solid all the way through. Let's try that one more time. Next we do a siren exercise. We just go up and down, just like a siren. Da. So as low as you can to as high as you can and back down a couple times on one breath, like this. Just like that. Now we can do it a couple times, so a little bit faster now. So you might not be able to go as low or as high as I can, but that's okay. We're going to extend our range by practicing this buzzing exercise every day. The next element of our warm-up is scales. And scales are so important. They're the alphabet of music. What I mean by that is, just like when you were learning how to read, you didn't learn the words first, you learned the alphabet first. So you learned the letters C, A, and T before you learned the word cat. Just like we're learning scales before we learn our music. Each day I try to pick a different scale to play. In your case, you may only know 4 or 5 scales. Pick a different scale each day and work on that scale. Mastery is achieved by repetition. Play it over and over and over again until you have it memorized. I don't normally advocate for memorization, but in the case of scales, it's necessary. Again, just like how we learned our alphabet song, we're going to learn scales the same way. We've got that memorized. We can memorize scales too. Once we've got our scales memorized, I like to practice them using what I call the 2 birds technique. The 2 birds technique comes from the idiom 2 birds with 1 stone, which means you're achieving 2 things with 1 action. In this case, we're going to be practicing our scales using different techniques. You can play scales with different articulations. You can play scales with different dynamics. You can play scales to practice long tones and with different rhythms. For instance, let's play concert B flat major scale at quarter equals 84. For this example, we're going to be using the rhythm studies section in our Red Standard of Excellence Book 1. This is on page 43, and we're going to be playing a concert B flat scale using rhythm exercise number 19. Look at the exercise before you start. It's in 4/4, and the rhythm is ta, ta, to, ta, ta, to, ta, ta, to, ta, ta, to. Again, we'll be playing at quarter equals 84, so get your metronomes out. 1, 2, ready. You can also play scales to practice different techniques. If I was having an issue with my air control, what I would do is practice that same scale, but using dynamics to my advantage. I would play them very slowly, and I would crescendo and diminuendo each note, like this. way, I'm working on both my air control and my scale for that day. 2 birds. The last step to a good warm-up are lip slurs. You might not have heard of this yet, but lip slurs are essentially the siren exercise we did earlier on our mouthpiece come to life on our instrument. So what you're going to want to do is focus on airspeed, slow for low and fast for high. We're going to start with a 2-note slur. This will be open position for trumpets, so just C to G and back down to C. For trombones, we're starting in first position, low B flat, F, back down to low B flat. You only articulate, you only tongue the first note. So, ta. After that first note, you're relying on your air to help you change to the middle note and back down. So, slow, faster, slow, like this. Eventually, you can move on to a 3-note slur. C, G, C, G, C, or B flat, F, B flat, F, B flat, like this. Now move down. So trombones is the second position, trumpets is the second valve. Third position, first valve. Fourth position, 1, 2. Fifth position, 2, 3. Sixth position, 1, 3. Seventh position, 1, 2, 3. And there you have it, lip slurs. Now, if you've played along, you're warmed up. Congratulations. Just as a review, today we talked about breathing, buzzing, scales, and lip slurs. If you follow those 4 main points every time you go to play, your practice will be more successful and you will see improvement in your playing a lot quicker. I look forward to hearing all your progress and happy practicing.